Charlotte and I are now back in our commentary box. Charlotte's going to be joining me throughout the programme, and we'll be taking you through to separation of the ATV. So you can see the green status panels there on the right-hand side of your screen. All the different parts sending their status there. This is the Launch Control Centre. What's happening over here?
Yes, there are 3 teams in this Launch Control Center. One is led by the COL, Klaus Sell, and he deals with ground operations, and he liaises with the launch site operations manager. If all conditions are met, it is he that authorizes the start of the synchronized sequence. He is supported by a quality manager who was just in view. Then there's a second team that ensures the readiness of the launcher and is led by the CPAP. Tonight this is Didier Aubin. And he is also supported by a quality manager, which is Erika Velliou. So this is all kept under close control.
And this is often known as the bunker because it's in a very specially protected building only 3 kilometers from the pad in the launch zone, which is where what we're looking at right now. 2 minutes and 44 seconds to launch. This is the program director. Today it's Pierre-Yves Bertin. He coordinates between Ariane Space and the European Space Agency. And this is the ATV desk. This is your gang, Charlotte.
Yes, this is our mission manager. It is his job to make sure all the various issues are resolved to get us here today. And he is supported by his deputy, Monsieur Siriguet. Next to them is the Astrium team, led by Gilles Debat and his deputy, Michael Teichwart. And here we have the launcher with the beautiful ESA logo. Here we have the LBC. This is where the technical teams are located right now. It's an ESA and Astrium team, mainly an Astrium team, of course. And they are looking at the telemetry that is coming from ATV via equipment in the launch table. And this allows us to keep an eye on what's happening inside the ATV. They are monitoring things like pressure, temperature, water control system, the pressure inside the cargo part, etc.
And we're coming up to, here we are, 1:35 now to launch. A quick word about the launch sequence. On Ariane 5, we have a 7-second delay between ignition and liftoff. That's because we start the Vulcan engine first and wait for 7 seconds to check it's working before we ignite the boosters. We're now waiting for the range operations manager to announce the 1 minute to launch moment.
À tous de DDO. Attention pour moins 1 minute.
We are 1 minute to launch. Switching to onboard.
À 0 moins 1 minute.
Switching to onboard power. We are live at the Guyana Space Center for the launch of ATV-5 Georges Lemaitre for the European Space Agency, built by Airbus Defence and Space. Our very best wishes to our customers and to everybody who has worked so hard to bring us to today's launch.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain, allumage des 2 EAP et décollage. Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux. les paramètres à bord sont normaux, la propulsion est nominale.
And we're off. Ariane 5 powering out into the night sky here at the Guyana Space Center. That streak of gold coming from those two powerful boosters. Just catching the sound of that now here, 15 kilometers from the pad as she flies over. And ATV Georges Lemaitre is on its way. Destination, our human outpost in space, the International Space Station. People in the viewing stations will have felt the ground shake. I've sent Charlotte out to go and watch the launch in real life rather than on the screens here, so we'll wait to hear how she experienced it. Right now the boosters are doing all the work. They're literally pushing us away from the Earth's gravity. That's what keeps us stuck to our planet. Makes it very difficult to leave as well. And we may get lucky and see those boosters falling away there with the naked eye. Each one is burning 2 tons of propellant. That's an awful lot of propellant per second. 2 tons per second. Just to give you an idea, if you filled your car once a week, that's just about the amount that you would be using in a year.
Séparation des étages d'accélération à poudre.
And we did see them separating there. Superb sight, the boosters falling away. And this, there we go, the 2 dots on either side and the white dot in the middle is the Vulcan engine that you can see, and those boosters falling back down. We're shedding weight. We don't need them anymore. We're losing each stage of the vehicle once it's burnt up its fuel, because of course the lighter we are, the faster we go. Right now we've lost about 3/4 of our weight in just over 2 minutes. So right now the main stage is doing all the work, and you can see its Vulcan engine there. That's the white dot in the middle, and still a dot of booster falling away to the left of the screen. Everything's going according to plan, he says. If you look at the bottom left, you can see our altitude is 106 kilometers above the Earth. We are at a distance of 232 kilometers if you were to draw a straight line, and our speed is 2.5 kilometers per second. We're now losing the fairing, and Charlotte has just come back into the commentary box, having seen her baby take off into space. How did you feel?
That was quite something. It's better if I turn the microphone on. That was quite something. It was absolutely spectacular, and I still got I got the blazing lights of the boosters in my eyes. It was fabulous.
You've got the retinal imprint.
Yes.
And what about the sound? And what about the...
Impressive. Absolutely impressive. No chance anybody in this area could miss that.
People quite frequently go to the beach to watch it. Charlotte, let's just tell everybody about the curve on the top right-hand side of the screen. What are we looking at here?
Yes. The green curve is the calculated curve, so this is the expected trajectory, and the yellow overlay is the actual trajectory as calculated from what we're getting from Ariane.
And if you look on the picture on he's saying everything's going well and according to plan. And on the right-hand side of the screen there in the middle, you can see the image. We can actually see ATV for the first time now. And these are computer-generated images that we're looking at, Charlotte.
Yes. We know what's happening, or we know what should be happening every minute and every second of the flight, but of course we have no cameras to show it to us. So we have this excellent animated view of what's going on up in space right now. And in parallel, the Ariane launcher is transmitting telemetry down to the telemetry stations here in French Guiana, and this includes the various mission events which are being reported by the DDO.
And here at the Guyana Space Center, it's been a very busy time. We've already had 6 launches this year. Today's our 7th, and we're preparing more.
And welcome back for a quick update from Mission Control Houston as we've been watching and following along the flight so far of ATV-5 and the Ariane space rocket, launching it into orbit, going by the book. So far, the solid rocket boosters have done their job for the initial liftoff to escape the Earth's gravity well. As you were hearing the commentator explaining, they've since broken away, doing their job successfully. The fairing peeling back from the vehicle, revealing ATV-5 to the environment of launch. Just about 2 minutes or so away from that main engine cutoff. Shortly following that after will be the ignition of the upper stage. It'll first ignite for a burn of about 8 minutes and 9 seconds to send ATV into its initial elliptical orbit. Following that, it'll shut down and coast for a while, doing a ballistic coasting path until reigniting to continue to raise the orbit. But again, everything going as planned so far. A successful launch from the Guyana spaceport, sending ATV-5 on its way towards the International Space Station. And now we'll go back to the live coverage down in Kourou.
Launcher using ground stations as she flies over. It's called telemetry, and we're going to be picking up the signal shortly at SNA, which is a boat in the Atlantic. Tell us a bit more about telemetry, Charlotte.
Well, the launcher has computer systems on board that are collecting all the essential parameters. And a subset of this is being analyzed in real time as it comes down via the telemetry ground stations. And this is the data that is used to immediately assess the performance of the launcher. And this includes also the reporting of the events I mentioned earlier. So this allows us to, or the launch team, to know what's going on.
And our flight path tonight takes us out across the Atlantic. And we are travelling northeast across the Atlantic, heading towards Paris. We'll then travel across northern Europe, down across India, Indonesia, and down towards Australia, where we will start the process of separating ATV. Which ground stations are we using?
The ground stations that are being used for this particular flight start with Galileo here in French Guiana, the boat that we have spoken about earlier, Station Navale Ariane.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux, la propulsion est nominale.
And then next in line will be Santa Maria in the Azores, and after that it will be handed over to the radar in Brittany, after which it will be in the visibility of Azaguel near Toulouse. Then there will be a gap in telemetry because there's no station within visibility, and this will last roughly 45 minutes, after which it will be picked up by Adelaide.
So the main stage has now switched off its engine, it's falling away, and we are igniting the engine on the upper stage, and this is a crucial part in the flight.
Séparation de l'étage, allumage de l'étage à propergol stockable.